Next up, we have Maryam. She is the president of a newly formed organization called Nourish Our Earth. Nourish Our Earth focuses on climate change and healthy living, and she uses her social media to send messages of positivity and activism across the globe. She's a freshman high schooler from New Jersey, involved in many social and humanitarian activities. So, Maryam, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. I am Maryam Masud. I'm a freshman in high school, and thank you so much, Kat, for giving that beautiful introduction. I start by the name of Almighty, the creator of all that exists. The effects of climate change are felt all across the globe, from vanishing land masses at Maldives to increased tropical storms here in the US. We need everyone, regardless of color, gender, nationality, or geographical region, to contribute. We are running against the clock to make a difference. So today I will talk about diversity and inclusiveness for climate change. And let's make sure there is no empty talk on this matter, no more empty promises. By diversity, I mean including everyone from all aspects of life. I mean inclusiveness, regardless of race, religion, or ethnicity. This is hard to believe, that empowering women and girls in developing countries ranked second among 76 solutions for curbing global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. It is hard to believe that girls' education and proper family planning can contribute to reduce carbon by 85 gigatons by 2050. But how does that work? The math is simple. It is by educating women and girls of the developing countries. We, the youth, are frontline communities who did not create this crisis, but feel the brunt of its impacts. Yet we won't be scared. We won't sit down idle and do nothing. We will stand up and reach out to every corner of this earth. And we will wake our fellow brothers and sisters, and we will tell them that climate crisis is real. Inaction will bite us heavily. It will harm my family, my friends, my neighbors, and all of you. So for my share, on behalf of Nourish Our Earth, I will do my best, and here are my priorities. I will work to influence the generations to come just by doing simple activities that are aligned to impact the environment positively. Small things like bike rides or awareness campaigns. I will act in family first and then bring impact globally. For example, on my shows, I can do a talk to the parents of some of my followers to aware, to commit, and to act. I will arrange competitions on my social media platforms, things like arts and crafts focusing on environment and hunger. At the end, our organization, Nourish Our Earth's priorities are mapped with the Green New Deal. By campaigning healthy food in school and homes, by carbon neutral awareness campaigns. Oh, our leaders, can you hear us? It is not too late to act upon. And with that, I will finish my talk. Thank you so much again, Kat and Liv, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to speak here alongside some really inspiring speakers. I really am very honored. Together we nourish, so we flourish. Thank you again.
Thank you, Maryam. It is so exciting to see young people taking on such leadership roles. After all, that is what Fridays for Future is all about. So we appreciate your advocacy and work to make this world a better place. Next up, we have Wally. He's the political campaigns coordinator with the Sunrise Movement. For those who don't know Sunrise, it's a youth movement to stop climate change and create millions of good jobs in the process. They're building an army of young people to make climate change an urgent priority across America, and the corrupting influence of fossil fuel executives on our politics, and elect leaders who stand up for the health and well-being of all people. So with that, Wally, it's all you.
Thanks, Kat. Wow, I'm so excited to be here. Oh man, this is like amazing to be with such passionate people working to stop climate change. My name's Wallace, he, they pronouns. I'm from beautiful Gainesville, Florida. Go Gators. If you're not a football fan, it's okay. So Sunrise Movement, like Kat said, is a youth organization working to stop climate change. We absolutely want to tackle the climate change at the scale that justice and science demands. Our North Star is the Green New Deal. We believe that the Green New Deal is our solution to fighting the climate change by putting millions of people to work fighting the climate catastrophe. I just want to talk about a little bit of the story of Sunrise, right? When we were thinking about, we were looking at the movement ecosystem on climate, and we saw that, there weren't that many groups like really solving this issue, really organizing people to implement strategy to gain policies on the federal and local level. And young people honestly got tired, and there were a passionate, group of people, just like yourselves in this Zoom chat, who decided to make a difference, who decided that they wanted to make a change. So Sunrise was formed, and we wanted to make climate change matter. And the way we did that was by talking to politicians and asking them not to take any money from fossil fuel companies. It would seem like that would be an easy task, but when you have years and years and decades long entrenched money in politics, it became a task. But we started showing up at town halls, we started organizing our communities, and we got more and more people to not take any money from fossil fuel companies. And that was young people, right? Teenagers, people in their early and mid 20s that did that. And then when the Green New Deal was introduced, when young people sat in Nancy Pelosi's office with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Green New Deal was the blueprint that we were organizing around. And when the caucus came and we were asking people who wanted our votes, wanted our support to become the president of the United States, we asked them what was their plan to attack climate change. And some people didn't even have a plan, right? Crazy to think. But we made it matter. Young people made it matter, right? Biden was not our first choice. I have to say straight up, probably wasn't your first choice, probably not a lot of people's first choice. But what happened was when Biden won the nomination, he saw that young people were showing up to his town halls. They were showing up across the country, following him around, asking what his plan was for climate. And what did he do? Well, he was like, these young people keep following me around. Let's invite them to talk about what their concerns are. And he created the Bernie Biden Unity Task Force. And he had people from Sunrise Movement on that task force, and he listened to our concerns. And out of that, we've got a bunch of executive actions in the first days of his administration, stopping leases of drilling on public lands, creating the Climate Conservation Corps, and so many others, right? Rolling back Trump's terrible climate executive actions. And that happened because of organizing from young people. We pushed for Deb Haaland to be the Secretary for Interior. And that was a battle. And she got nominated and just now confirmed, which is a historic moment for our country and a huge win for our movement. And young people did that with the help of our Indigenous partners and partners all over the movement ecology. Young people did that. And now what we're seeing now is a moment for young people to step up into their power, to take leadership where the void of leadership is now. There's a vacuum of leadership. We now again see that, adults aren't stepping up. And, it seems like sometimes it's unfair that, people in their teens, young people have to like take up leadership. But when young people stand up and organize, we win. We've seen it. We continue to see it. And if we keep mobilizing, we'll win a Green New Deal. Right now, we're seeing some of the most devastating effects of climate change across the country. I was in Iowa when derecho hit. It was a huge land hurricane in the middle of the Midwest. It was so strange. I remember where I was. I was in a coffee shop, and then all of a sudden I was looking at my phone and I saw like friends post about like the storm with all the rain and all the wind, and it didn't hit where we were, but all of a sudden you heard tornado sirens in the background. And then all of a sudden you saw like this like huge amount of rain just come out of the sky, and you hear howling winds in the background. And it was scary, and people's power went out for like weeks. And then you saw branches on the ground and for like months. And the reason why that happened is because the government wasn't prepared for situations like that. And we're going to continue to see things like that. We saw it in Texas, where the power grid was not able to sustain the effects of climate change. And we saw people were cold, we saw people were hungry, and their local officials were not prepared. We saw their elected officials blame solar panels and windmills for their political failures, deflecting from any responsibility for their inactions. We also saw Ted Cruz, for some reason, thought it was a good idea to go to Cancun, and then threw his daughter under the bus, saying she's the reason why he went. That's failed leadership. And now we see Democrats right now in Congress having this agenda and having no way to pass it because they're refusing to abolish this archaic rule called the filibuster to pass legislation that we know our communities need. We need voter rights. We need sustainable healthcare. We need a solution to climate change. And if we cannot figure out a way to abolish this filibuster, the Democrats are choosing failure, and we cannot allow them to choose failure. Young people, we need to mobilize. We need to stand up because we know what our community needs. We know we need a Green New Deal. We know we cannot allow Mitch McConnell and his sympathized, his insurrectionist sympathizing colleagues to dictate the control of this administration. We can't allow that to happen, because if we do allow that to happen, we might be in the minority for years and years. And we know it's only going to get worse from Trump. Trump enabled all these people to do the worst things that we could have possibly imagined. We can't do that. So we have to pressure the administration to be bold, to be brave in the face of adversity. Right now, it's really scary, but it's scary for us. There's so much uncertainty in the world, so much, inequality. On top of that, climate anxiety, and we're taking the streets. We saw last summer how young people were taking the streets. The only thing that honestly, the administration should be like glad that like we're not able to take the streets, because we would be right now on the steps of power right now, pressuring them to use their power for good. And that's what we see in this moment. We need to continue to fight the good fight. We need to continue to mobilize for a Green New Deal, because we know our generation needs solution to climate change. And if we can't get that, it's game over. And if the Democrats can't, if they can't get it together, they're choosing failure, and we can't allow that to happen.
Thank you all. You always bring so much of your personal story with you. It always makes it so much different the way that you tell it. Because policy plays a critical role in pursuing and achieving climate and social justice. And we just need to get more young people into policy. We must demand space at the decision-making tables, and thank you for leading that charge.